lot of guys that are, kind of racing for this Heisman, and this whole entire season has been kind of up in the air.
In a year where the Heisman Trophy is up for anybody.
Tell me who else should win the award.
You stuck frozen while I stay in motion. I'ma pass you up while you stop and smell the roses. Pure devotion, you just dip your toes in. Leave you in the past, I was built for the moment. Look, unfazed, tie game, fourth quarter, all gas, no brakes, keep going. Can't change me, too tame, too focused. If it didn't break me, it only made me stronger. Look.
One guy has been at the top of the conversation for the majority of the season, and that is Alabama quarterback Bryce Young.
Here comes the pressure. Young rolls away from it and throws a touchdown strike. Launches downfield. There's Williams. He's got it. Touchdown tied.
Bryce Young off the pump fake. He got in.
C.J. Stroud, his stats are just off the charts.
Stroud looking to throw on first down. A lightning strike. Buckeyes. Stroud from the pocket across the middle. High throw. Oh, Lobby's got it.
He just sent a very loud message to the voters.
One guy that's winning the games at a historic rate is Kenny Pickett.
Flushed out of the pocket. And Pickett throws back across the middle, and it's a touchdown.
Pitt is having a season unlike any other.
Pickett airing it out, looking for the end zone. Touchdown! He has now broken the Dan Marino single-season touchdown record.
There's also somebody else whose stock is completely rising. I mean, even Vegas knows the deal. Aidan Hutchinson. It was almost his coming-out Heisman moment against Ohio State. He was causing havoc on every single play. He had 15 quarterback pressures against OSU.
I want to make sure I heard that stat correctly. He had 15 pressures against Ohio State?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Face me, I'm a legend when I'm locked in.
If that didn't get you hyped, I do not honestly know what even will.
Like, come
because
on.
Four guys' lives are about to change. They're going to join a very elite group
Exclusive
of
group
men that have won the Heisman. That is the hope. They're at the Jazz at Lincoln Center, and it's beautiful out there. I'm a little jealous. We aren't there, but guess what? We are here. And I'd rather be in the studio with you than
we're dressed for the occasion as well. You know,
exactly.
we thought that we should get with the vibes and get a little fancy schmancy.
Welcome to the Heisman Show presented by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Christine Williamson and Skubie Mageza here. And Skubie, it's kind of crazy that the college football season is winding down. We now know who our Heisman finalists are. And I feel like I kind of know who's going to win the Heisman, but I mean, we can talk about that later. But big night, no?
Oh, yeah. And this was one of the few years where we didn't really know who was the favorite until, what, a couple weeks ago?
Listen. We knew who the favorite was. But, like, everybody, there were guys stepping up last minute. We had Aidan Hutchinson kind of show up on the scene.
Yeah.
So it's been a really good year. So let's take a look at our four Heisman finalists right now, at the moment, who are in New York.
Let's see them. There they are.
All right, so Aidan Hutchinson, Kenny Pickett, friend of the show, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young. And like I said, we're going to talk about this a little bit more a little bit later, but I feel like my guy if I was a Heisman voter, I would have voted for Bryce Young.
Oh, wow, what a great choice.
Who would you have?
Definitely going Bryce Young. I've had him at the top of the list all year long, and there's a reason he's there.
Four good guys, four really good guys, so it'll be definitely very interesting to see. And what better way to start this thing off than to welcome in our friend Marty Smith, who is at the Jazz at Lincoln Center's Appel Room. And I heard you talking a little bit about how big of it, I mean, obviously the Heisman is a big deal, but you're there. So explain, kind of describe the atmosphere right now.
Good evening, guys. Merry Christmas. It's a beautiful energy. They haven't opened the doors just yet. That'll happen here in just a few minutes, and everybody will come pouring in. But everybody is right outside enjoying themselves right now, kind of in the preliminary moments before the doors open. And the energy is beautiful. This is a lifelong dream for these four young men who are candidates tonight to win the 87th Heisman Trophy, and all of them are deserving. They've had tremendous years. They are all of tremendous character, and I can't wait to hear the emotion. We have the great opportunity tonight, myself and Holly Rowe, to interview the players and their parents, as well as their head coaches. So I can't wait to hear about those paths and what this moment actually is for them, because all of them had record-breaking years. All of them had years that lifted their programs dramatically, regardless of position. Of course, Aidan Hutchinson, the lone defensive player, and then you got a trio of quarterbacks who put up absolutely ridiculous numbers, video game numbers this year. So it's going to be a beautiful night. This venue is fabulous. The energy's wonderful. The stage, as you can see, is
beautiful,
beyond description. It's just an amazing night to be here.
I know. I love that. Yeah. It looks good. Looks really good. You look good, too. I want to talk. You mentioned about talking to the players and their families. Bryce Young has been the clear front runner in some people's minds basically the entire season. Especially, he solidified that in Alabama's win over Georgia in the SEC championship. It's kind of crazy to think about the fact that Alabama hasn't had a quarterback to win the Heisman. So how big of a deal would it be if he were to pull this one off?
I think it's a huge deal, and I'm one of those people that feels like he's the guy. I felt like what he did against Auburn, first down, 97 yards for the rest of your life, and leads the Tide to overtime and then ultimately the victory, and then 461 total yards against the #1 defense in the country, a generational defense. And the way that he did that, I mean, you're talking about a floor general. He's pointing John Mechie in the end zone where to run so he can throw him the ball. He's breaking the pressure and throwing pitches to Brian Robinson. He had Heisman moment after Heisman moment in that football game in the SEC championship. So it would be huge for Alabama. He would be the first quarterback in the history of that storied program to win it. And if he does win it, of course, they'll go back-to-back down in Tuscaloosa. Devontae Smith won it 1 year ago.
All right, now talking about the lone defensive wolf in this finalist group, Aidan Hutchinson. He was recently added toward this conversation about 2 weeks ago, and he's been on a tear, just a historic season. I mean, do you think he should have been in the conversation a little earlier than he was?
No, I don't, but he absolutely earned his way not only into the conversation, but here to New York tonight. Look, they have a saying in Ann Arbor, Michigan, those who stay will be champions, and he could have gone to the NFL draft. He could have decided, I'm done at the University of Michigan, I'm going to go to the league. But he stayed, and he's a champion, and his conviction, and his passion, and his drive, and his discipline, and his absolute and unmitigated decision to come back demanded of his teammates that they find another level. It was every single day, y'all. This wasn't just in the late portions of the season. It was every day from the time spring ball started. We are going to be different. And he was why. He's the main reason why. So I think it's amazing that he's here. 14 sacks, broke the school record. Of course, at one time, his father, Steve, owned that record. And, I mean, he just had an amazing year. And I love his character. I just had a long conversation with his parents outside. I've known them for some time. And, guys, I've been around this program. I've gone to Paris with them. I've gone to Rome with them. I've been around them. I know what this is for Jim Harbaugh. That was a monumental victory over Ohio State. And then there was the worry about Iowa in the Big Ten championship, but they were not to be denied. And here they are behind Aidan Hutchinson, having the opportunity to win an Orange Bowl and possibly a national title.
All right, let's talk about a guy who is on his rivaled team. You just mentioned the fact that they beat Ohio State. C.J. Stroud absolutely annihilated Michigan State. I was at that game and we were mind blown. And this kid is a freshman. So talk about how he's able to be the general that he is and just being so young.
I think that it took a minute. He really struggled early in the season, kind of finding his way and finding consistency. When the season began, there were a lot of people, myself included, who looked at Ohio State's roster. They got pros everywhere. They have the best wide receiving core in the country. They got a great freshman running back. The quarterback position was the big question mark. And then from the time that he sat out the Akron game, it was over. The numbers are ridiculous. And to your point, I mean, what he did against Michigan State in less than 4 quarters of play was remarkable. I can't wait to hear his story tonight. I appreciate that he really is very faith-driven and very centered as a human being, and I admire that for someone at all, but certainly someone who's so young, a great leader of that Ohio State program.
What about somebody with some experience at that same position, Kenny Pickett? I mean, he shattered all different types of school records and ACC records, and it seems as if he's not as much a part of the conversation as some of these other guys are. Do you think that would be different if he played at more of a high-profile school?
Well, they had a really good year. They won the ACC championship, and to your point, he broke a lot of records, and his future now is so bright. And I love what he said, and I'm actually going to ask him this in the ceremony. I read that earlier this year he said there's beauty in the struggle. If you look at Kenny's career and his path, especially in an instant gratification society with transfer portals and all of the change and the constant nomadic movement throughout the sport, he decided to stay. And as a result of him deciding to stay, he raised his draft stock from 3rd or 4th round at best to 1st round. He's going to make a lot of money. So I think he's cool with kind of entering the Heisman conversation late, guys, because he might end up being the first quarterback taken in the draft. Good for him.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely a friend of the show, too. We had him on the Heisman Show
Great
earlier
guy.
this season. He's a great, great guy. You're also a great guy, Marty. Can't wait to watch you in the Heisman ceremony and just see all the conversations that you guys have very soon.
I'm at the Heisman, y'all. I'm
Yeah.
at the Heisman. I can't believe it.
Thanks, Marty.
Good Lord. Appreciate y'all.
All right, let's check out some of these guys. Kenny Pickett.
Ooh, nice in style.
Looking, the hair slicked back. I feel like that's his thing. He likes to, slick back the hair, I feel like.
Yeah,
It looks good.
He's looking real clean. It's not something slight but simple. You know what I mean? Something light.
Love that. CJ Stroud with the vest.
3-piece suit.
And the pinstripes.
Ooh, he got some jewelry on it too. We got some jewelry.
Wow, with the red tie. I love that. I
Yeah.
think he kind of understood.
Yeah,
what
he
was
understood
happening.
the assignment a little more than Pickett.
Of course. Let's look at our next guy. Okay.
Oh.
So
Bryce.
Bryce Young came through with the velvet, the black velvet, and the turtleneck and the chain. This is some grown man.
I was gonna say this is a man that looks like he knows he won the Heisman.
Oh yeah, he's like, and by the way, I don't really have to do anything flashy. I'll just rock the velvet, and you already know what it is. Oh my goodness, Aidan Hutchinson. Honestly, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I was gonna say a defensive player looking cleaner than the quarterbacks. He's looking good.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Okay, so those are the guys that are at the ceremony. These are the guys that just barely made it. And there's the guy that I thought was going to be number 2, Matt Corral. Kenneth Walker III at 6th.
Wow.
Anything surprise you here?
Will Anderson, I'm happy he's at 5th. He could have made this top 4 as well, but all these guys are well deserving. Breece Hall snuck into that top 10.
Right. We talked about him a little bit earlier in the season. A guy that we haven't talked about, but we need to talk about right now. A guy that's celebrating his 26th Heisman anniversary. Check this out.
Just jack with me. Just jack. Just jack. Just jack. Just jack. Just jack with me.
All right, to talk a little bit more about these guys, we welcome in the 1995 Heisman winner, Eddie George, to the show. And before we get to the Heisman conversation, I want to congratulate you on being named a 2022 Pro Football Hall of Fame semifinalist. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I like the boots. And you take after your uncle there, Christina.
I know, I definitely get.
Hey, is that suit, did Randolph make that suit too, Scoop?
Hey, I tried to make a call, and she said she's going to get me in touch.
I got him next time. But yes, the style definitely runs
he's
in the
doing
family.
all right.
I love it. Let's talk about your guy, CJ Stroud, because he's the 4th Heisman finalist at Ohio State, and this is a pretty big deal. So what do you think that means for this program?
Oh, it's huge. For Ohio State, for the success they've had over the years. He's one of many players that have been Heisman finalists. Of course, a couple years ago, it was Justin Fields and Haskins and, Jaden Chase Young as well. So it's just been remarkable for our program to have guys recognized in that regard. Now it's a matter of getting enough votes to bring the trophy home. Troy Smith, I believe, was our last Heisman Trophy winner in 2006. And it would be nice to add one more to that You know, they bring a 7th home with 7 Heisman trophies. You know, Archie has 2, so it would be great to have an 8th one in the family.
Just stacking them.
Yeah, you know, the crazy thing about Stroud is that earlier on in the season, people were calling for Ryan Day to sit him. But now here we are. He's a Heisman finalist, and he's still got some time with the team. So what can you say about this young talent that they already have?
Well, this whole team is pretty much young. I mean, you know, look who he's replacing. Justin Fields last year. He was a Heisman finalist last year. And he comes in, those are big numbers. And, of course, you got to give a young guy time to find his sea legs. It's tough to come right in and just light it up. I mean, he played a resilient Oregon team that came to Columbus earlier this year and suffered a loss. But through it all, he's been very consistent. He's able to find his receivers downfield. The one off game he had was in Ann Arbor, and the weather conditions wasn't conducive for his style. But, I mean, you look at the highlights, you look at the receivers, you look at his timing. This kid is going to be a superstar in the making in the near future. So I think a Heisman is definitely in his future if he stays around long enough.
Yeah.
All right, that's your guy. Let's talk about another Big Ten player, MSU's Kenneth Walker III, and he has been absolutely insane for Michigan State. He won the Walter Camp Player of the Year award, and he's the first player in Division I history to win that award and not be a Heisman finalist. So what do you think about his play this season?
You know, it's a slight to the running backs. I'm kind of upset about that. Although he went to Michigan State, I think he is a fantastic running back. Phenomenal kid in between the tackles, can hit it hard. He's a Wake Forest transfer. Now that I'm coaching at Tennessee State, I wish I could find a guy like him to be in the backfield so he could tote the rock. But he is just a dynamic player, has the home run threat, able to hit it between the tackles really hard. He is the quintessential Big Ten running back that you want to see week in and week out in this conference. And again, it's just a shame that the running backs don't get enough love when it comes to the Heisman Trophy.
You know, the thing about the Heisman Trophy, we're going to go back to you, is that when you won it, you not only got the trophy, but you broke it right after. Being the first person to do so. But I listened to the story, right?
Did not break it.
Let's clear it up for the people. Whose fault it truly was. Give us the story of how this all went down.
It was the security at LaGuardia. Okay, I did not say, okay, I'm going to take my trophy and break the finger off.
Yep.
They may be putting it on the conveyor belt through the X-ray machine. Clearly, I'm not hiding anything in it. It's crazy, a trophy. Yeah. If you were watching any media that week, you would have saw that I won the trophy. But he must have been a Michigan fan hating on me, telling me to put it on the conveyor belt. Got it stuck in the X-ray machine. Got Vaseline for W40. Sprayed it all inside. Pulls it out. And guess what? Of all the fingers that was broken, it was the middle finger, pointing back at his face. So, hey,
that is amazing.
You tried,
actually,
too.
That was a Jeopardy question. I tried to reason with him. I tried to say, hey, you see the dimensions of the trophy? It's just not going to work.
It's not going to work out. You should have known.
Right.
Let's take it back then to 1995, that night, because these guys are going to have a huge night. It's a really big deal, and they don't know what to expect. So what can they expect? What do you remember from that night?
Oh, wow. It is it's a memorable evening. You're going to see a who's who of great college football players throughout the history of the sport there. Former Heisman Trophy winners, coaches, just anyone of importance in the audience. And it's a special night. First of all, to be a finalist is an accomplishment in itself. So anyone making it the trip down there is amazing. And when you are sitting in that front row and before they call your name, it's the longest 30 seconds of your life. And I just remember that night vividly. Unfortunately, my mother passed away this year. This is my 25th year anniversary, and she was just a proud mom because she put a lot of hard work into me, invested a lot in me, and that was a memorable moment for me and my family that night.
Oh, I love it so much. Wow, that's amazing. I'm sure a lot of the guys are going to experience a lot of that tonight. Thanks so much for sharing everything with us today, Eddie.
Yeah, we appreciate that. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys. Take care, and Happy New Year, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that good stuff.
I just love that so much. I could not imagine what the TSA guy was thinking after the Heisman.
And you know how big Eddie is, so he probably looked at him like, bro, I tried to tell you, don't put it in there.
He was in for a world of trouble. When you think about it, because we were talking about going to the Heisman ceremony, and for these guys, it is such a big deal. I cannot imagine what it's like to be a player in that position. What do you feel like it would be like?
Oh, man.
I always try to put myself in other people's shoes.
I know, right? And when you think about it, the anxiety leading up to it, the anticipation, that whole night, it's something you remember forever. But when it's all over, I know they'll be happy with how it turned out.
I know. It's going to be a good night. I can't wait to see it. They are not the only ones that are going to be at the Heisman ceremony tonight because, of course, former players, they show up.
J3.
You got Robert Griffin III, who was really clean this morning on game day. He decided to pull out a black velvet suit as well. This is a good look. Okay, yep. Steve Spurrier in the building, 1966 Heisman Trophy winner. It's always so great to see everybody, see everybody come and celebrate the next Heisman winner. Archie Griffin there.
Archie.
So obviously those guys are there. Holly Rowe is standing by with 3 Heisman winners herself.
Welcome into the glorious venue for the 2021 Heisman Memorial Trophy. We are at Jazz at Lincoln Center, and it is spectacular. High atop Central Park, I am here with some of the most exclusive members of college football's exclusive fraternity. 3 Heisman winners, Tim Tebow, Robert Griffin III, and of course, Desmond Howard. And guys, everyone has a special moment. The night you won the Heisman, what stands out to you, Des? Let's start with you.
Well, first of all, listen, if you come into this venue and you don't understand the significance of this trophy, I can't help you.
I got a 9-foot one right here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is spectacular. The night that I won it was really crazy because I was watching the Fab Five play Duke that night in basketball. So we're at the DAC. I'm in a different room trying to watch the game. And then Bruce Marty came in and said, Desmond, come on. They're about to make the announcement. So I almost missed the announcement. Luckily, I was there. I was in my seat and won the award. And it wasn't a shoe-in. It wasn't like a done deal. Because the year before, listen.
You knew you got it. That's why you posed.
Okay, they're not going to believe me. So it was a great night. My parents weren't here. They were like in Cleveland. They had to beam me in via satellite. That's how old I am. But listen, it was still a great night. I had a lot of fun. And kudos to my teammates who helped me win the award.
There you go. Oh, yeah. So for me, it was about, it was we. I always talked about we won the Heisman. We won the Heisman, and we're the smaller school, right? We went up against the Bamas and the LSUs, and it kind of showed that if you go out and you play at a high level, you can win this. You can win this award. So for Baylor to win that award and to see the outpour and the reaction from the fan reaction videos, I'll always carry that with me because that's what I went there for, to be able to make a difference and impact the world in a great way. And Baylor University.
That's why they love you so much.
And you know, I love them too.
Legend. Okay, Tim Tebow told us a great story. There used to be a little tradition for the Heisman finalists. What did the finalists used to do? You were here 3 times.
I don't know if it was a tradition, but
yeah, what did he tell you?
I remember
exactly.
My senior year, it was with some of the guys. We all went to go work out, and by the end of it, me, Mark Ingram, and Dominican Sue, we were all playing tug of war, and it became super competitive in the gym at the Marriott Marquis. And, you know, all of a sudden, we just started as friendly, and all of a sudden, it gets very competitive. We had a blast, though.
All of a sudden, it turned into Squid Games.
I would love to see the hotel security tape and Dominican Sue, Mark Ingram, Tim Tebow working out in the hotel.
We had a lot of fun, though.
That is epic. All right, let's turn the page. These young men tonight are special, and they've done it in very different ways. Yeah. How do you describe what Aidan Hutchinson's been able to do?
Passion, leadership, determination, resilience. I mean, deciding to come back and then lead his team. And when you turn on the film, what stands out is not just his athletic ability, it's that he never stops. 14 pressures against Ohio State, not just because he won, on the first move, it was because every single play, CJ knew there's a guy breathing down the back of my neck.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think any guy likes to have that person breathing down the back of
their neck. No QB likes it. But talk to me about the youth of these quarterbacks. These are 2 really young, inexperienced quarterbacks. One hit 70% of his passes, the other 68. How do these young guys shine like they have?
Yeah, no, I look at C.J. Stroud in particular, and you watch how he started the season. He was up and down for the first 3 games, took a week off, right, because of injury, and came back and threw 30 touchdowns in 8 games. And to me, that just showed his resilience, his toughness. And then when you look at Bryce Young, he was the guy that nobody wants another Alabama guy to win the Heisman, right? But when he goes out there and performs the way that he does, throwing the ball, running the ball, just cool, calm, collective. That is what a Heisman Trophy winner is, and I think Bryce Young embodies that.
And then Kenny Pickett, he's had to be resilient. He's a 4-year starter. Yeah. He's stuck around. What do you see in him?
Oh, man, I tell you, he has all the tools, all the attributes. He's athletic. He thinks instinctively. I mean, for a guy to say, I'm about to run, and I see guys that far away from me, they're coming closer, I'm going to slide. Nope, I'm going to stay on my feet and run right past those dudes. I mean, to make that type of move is so incredible. He's intelligent. I mean, he's a guy who broke Dan Marino's record. I love Dan Marino. You just don't go breaking Dan Marino's record. So just a tremendous talent.
How about this? After his very first game as a Pitt starter, Dan Marino texted Kenny Pickett. I've got a copy of the text. He saw something special in this young man.
Wow.
And then he went on to break all of Dan's records. Kind of a cool symmetry.
That is really
all right,
cool.
stick around. We have so many other great stories for you tonight and this beautiful venue. The Heisman, it's coming up 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right, so we have seen the 4 finalists. We know who they are: Aidan, Hutchinson, Kenny Pickett, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young. And I love that RG3 said that nobody wants to see another Alabama guy win the Heisman. We have not seen an Alabama quarterback win the Heisman yet. So this would be still a really big deal. Let's take a look at some of the biggest moments from each of the guys
There are some big
that
ones.
are the finalists. And we'll start with this guy, the SEC Championship. A lot of people want to talk about the Iron Bowl, but the SEC Championship, I feel like, is when Bryce really pulled away.
I mean, completely dominant in that game. The way he had 421 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. He was doing video game-like things, Christine.
He was out of his mind. The guy that everybody feels like got put on the map more recently, the defensive guy. Somebody that, obviously isn't expected to win the Heisman because it's usually not a defensive award.
They be hating on him.
But Aidan Hutchinson, him against Ohio State, just putting the fear of God in Ohio State's offense.
Seriously, 15 pressures in this game. Absolutely insane. 3 sacks. He broke the record in this game, and he's Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year.
And it was a very, very cold day, and he was playing like it was cold. All right, let's go on to a guy that plays for the team that Aidan Hutchinson doesn't like. C.J. Stroud, the quarterback, the freshman, and I feel like we all know versus Michigan State, he was absolutely insane.
That was his Heisman moment, Christine, and they had to take him out early in this game, and he already broke records on records on records.
It didn't make any sense. Honestly, like I said, I was at this game. Me and Harry Douglas and Reese Davis were all standing on the end zone, and we literally had our jaw dropped because it did not make any sense. Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh quarterback. I like that his last name is Pickett because he doesn't pick it. Only 7 interceptions on the whole entire season. He's been insane.
And you could make fun of his name and say Kenny Pickett just picked it, but no, he threw touchdowns, 42 passing touchdowns, ACC record, and he just completely took this team to a whole new place.
And really, I feel like everybody wants to talk about that fake slide. If you were watching Game Day this morning, if you were listening to Des, right, then he did not do it on purpose, you guys. Because we talked about this. We talked about this a little bit early this week, right? He did it on accident. He just saw that the defense was pulling up, so he figured, hey, let me just go in and run this in for a touchdown. So you got Bryce Young for winning the Heisman, correct?
Bryce Young, most definitely. He's been my number 1 all year long.
Love that. All right, thanks for watching the Heisman Show, presented by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Before we go, it's time for all the fun and bloopers captured at this year's Nissan Heisman House commercial shoot. Enjoy the ceremony. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah, that is weird. You want to play some spike ball?
That's a no? Is that a no?
This cheap toilet paper, it don't roll out like it's supposed to.
I mean, I can't even show the biceps? That's crazy.
Go show these cats. Oh, shoot. What was it?
Every time they give me the opportunity, I gotta do it. They're such good commercials. There's no way you always have this energy. No way. Everyone says you couldn't handle the curve. I get to stand in instead of this guy.
We will be featuring actual tweets from past year's tweets. Sorry.
I don't know how they're going to get that down.
That was good.